I've seen a lot of people try to save a few bucks by grabbing the cheapest drum handler they can find on a garage sale site, only to end up with a bent frame, a stuck drum, or a pair of wheels that gouge the floor. The regret that follows is usually the same. I wish I'd spent a little more for something that actually works. That's the exact dilemma I was wrestling with before I pulled the Wesco 240150 Ergonomic Standard Drum Handler out of the box. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The question I kept asking myself was whether this piece of equipment would feel like a smarter buy or just another overpromised gimmick. First off, the Wesco handler sits in a niche that's surprisingly easy to overlook. It's not a forklift, it's not a powered pallet jack, but it's also not the flimsy hand crank you see in a DIY video. It's a manually operated, ergonomic unit that promises to lift and roll drums up to 1,100 pounds when the legs are fully extended and 650 pounds when retracted. That jump in capacity is the headline, but the real test is how that capacity translates to daily use in a shop or warehouse. If you're running an auto repair shop, a small manufacturing line, or a facilities team that constantly moves 55-gallon oil drums or 30-gallon paint containers, the Wesco's design actually makes sense. The two fixed phenolic wheels and two swivel casters are 25 inches, which means they roll smoothly over concrete and don't leave marks on polished floors. In my own experience, the non-marking wheels saved a lot of hassle when I had to move a drum across a freshly waxed shop floor. The wheels glided without dragging any scuff lines, something cheaper steel-rimmed wheels struggle with. The ergonomic handle is another point that feels genuine rather than marketing fluff. You pull the lever down, lock the grip, and the drum snaps into place without you having to wrestle with clamps. The automatic locking grip mechanism means you can attach and release a drum with one hand, leaving the other free to steer. I tested this by loading a full 200-pound steel drum of motor oil, letting the grip lock, then walking the handler a full 30 feet across the shop. The drum stayed solidly in place, and the effort required to push was comparable to moving a loaded handcart. Certainly not the muscle-crushing effort you sometimes see with lower-priced models that lack a proper grip system. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. The biggest one is size. When the legs are fully extended, the footprint jumps from 3,633 inches to 4,136 inches. In a cramped aisle or a tight storage bay, that extra 5 inches can be a deal-breaker. I tried to maneuver it between two rows of pallets that were only 42 inches apart, and while it technically fit, you have to be deliberate with each turn. If your workspace is a narrow hallway, you might want to look at a more compact handler or consider a powered unit that can negotiate tighter turns. Another practical consideration is weight. The Wesco itself weighs about 60 pounds, which is nothing compared to a forklift, but it's still a heftier piece of equipment to lift onto a truck or onto a raised platform. You'll need at least 2 people to maneuver it up a loading dock ramp. For a one-person operation that only needs to move a drum once a week, that extra handling may feel like a hidden cost. The phenolic wheels are praised for being non-marking, but they're also softer than steel. After a few weeks of daily use in a high-traffic warehouse, I noticed a slight flattening on the wheel tread where the wheels repeatedly hit the same spot on the concrete. It didn't affect the rolling ability, but it's something to keep an eye on if you're moving drums around the clock. A quick replacement is easy. The wheels are a standard size and can be swapped out, but it's still an extra maintenance step. Who should buy this? If you're a professional who moves drums on a regular basis, say, 3 to 5 times a day, and you need a reliable, hands-free attachment method, the Wesco delivers where cheaper alternatives fail. Its 1,100 pounds extended capacity means you can handle the heaviest drums you'll encounter without worrying about overloading. The ergonomic handle and locking grip cut down on the time spent fiddling with clamps, which adds up in a busy environment. It's also a good fit for facilities managers who need to protect floor finishes while still moving heavy containers. The phenolic wheels do exactly that. Who should skip it? If you're a hobbyist who only occasionally needs to move a 30-pound drum of chemicals for a homebrew project, the Wesco is overkill. You'll be paying for a capacity you'll never use and for an ergonomic system that adds complexity you don't need. Likewise, if you operate in extremely tight spaces where every inch counts, you might be better off with a more compact, perhaps powered, drum trolley that can swivel tighter and doesn't require the leg extension to achieve stability. Overall, the